So after the Celtics won their 18th championship, which is an NBA record, won over the Los Angeles Lakers, who they were tied with since the Lakers won that bubble championship back in, I believe, 2020, Joe Mazzulla is very excited to repeat, and the odds makers, rightfully so, have the Celtics as the favorites to win the 2024-2025 NBA Finals. Mazzulla, actually, interesting enough, he's been, quote, all he's thinking about is repeating as title winners, and also Mazzulla said he wants to emulate the success of teams in other sports with track records of winning multiple championships as inspiration, explicitly citing Manchester City's 4 straight Premier League titles. So he's even going cross sports now. He wants to maintain that level of success, which the Celtics have not had championship-wise in several decades.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how confident are you that the Celtics could be the first repeat champion since the 2017-2018 Golden State Warriors?
I'm reasonably confident. I think the burden is off Tatum and Brown now that they've got their first championship. Look what the Bulls did after they finally won their first one. It took Michael Jordan quite a few years to get it, and he teamed up with Scottie Pippen, and they managed to get it done. Now you still have Tatum and Brown. They have all 8 players who had at least 1,000 minutes will be back. They're only losing Cornette maybe and with the Tillman there, the 2 backup centers. They can fill that slot somehow, I'm pretty sure. So I think that happiness is the moment before you need more happiness, and they were happy to win it all, and now they're thinking, hey, let's repeat. And I think they have a very good chance to do it. I think that the main team that would be in their way would be Denver. I see them getting out of the East. I mean, you look at the year that they had. They had they were the 26th team to win 64 games. No team has ever had more 50, 30, and 25-point wins in a season. They had some 50-point wins in the season, right? They were 16-3 in the playoffs. It's the second highest winning percentage since they went to the 7-game format for the whole playoff series. They were behind only the 2016-17 Warriors, who had Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. The 14th to top 80 combined wins. They outscored opponents by 11.34 points per game. They're the most efficient offense in NBA history, 4th best efficiency of any postseason team to win the title. They have all 8 players who had at least 1,000 minutes will be back, and Jason Tatum's going to get the Supermax contract. And those players, Porzingis will be back. Derek White, Drew Holiday has a 4-year extension. And even Al Horford is going to be back, and he still looks pretty good to me for a guy who's considered to be old. So I like their chances. I think Denver will be the main impediment to them. I think they'll get out of the East reasonably easy, although they had a little easier time this year with players being hurt along the way. It made it a little easier. I mean, but they only lost 3 games out of the 19 that they played to win the championship. So they're a dominant team. They got a great core there. They seem to all get along very well. Joe Mazzulla learned a lot in his second year. They have a great bench coaching staff, although some of those guys will probably get plucked away. We'll see. It looks bright for them, and I'm all for it.
Well, here's the big thing, right? This year, I think everybody could agree was championship or bust. Because you got Porzingis, you got Drew Holiday, you got rid of, some of the fan favorites of Marcus Smart and tremendous defender Robert Williams, who couldn't stay healthy. And, Kristaps Porzingis did his thing. Drew Holiday made some very, very clutch defensive plays. And I think this year it's the same thing. Because this year, you have a couple players, mainly Derek White, who might be gone by the end of next year. Derek White's going to probably get a decent amount of money that he wants. He's probably looking at maybe a $25 to $30 million a year contract, because that's just how good he is. That's how big of an impact he's had during his time with the Boston Celtics. But for this upcoming season, Jason Tatum's back, Jaylen Brown's back, Porzingis is back, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, and my guess, just because it's a $2.1 million option, Sam Hauser will be back. So they have a bunch of their really, really good pieces back. And I think what we've seen is how does your bench do? Because what we saw, at least in the past 2 NBA final victories, the deeper team won. Miami did not have a very good, consistent, deep team compared to the Denver Nuggets, who I think had a very underrated bench. The Celtics were the deepest team in the NBA this year. The deepest team. Sam Hauser could hit threes. Peyton Pritchard, ball handling, defense, knocking down threes, was pretty good. Luke Cornett, good on the boards. And then you also have your top guys, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Derek White. Al Horford even came off the bench. He was a starter for a long time. Rob Williams and him would start a few games here and there. So at least one more year. Their window is open one more year. So if I'm doing it on a scale of 0 to 10 in confidence level, I'm going with a 9. Just because I agree with you, who besides Denver is going to really, really bother them? I don't think it's many teams that can.
No.
They destroyed the East. They had a very good record against the West. It was just a couple teams. I think Denver was the only team where they never beat.
Who's going to be better in the East? Who's going to be better
Nobody.
next year in the East? I don't see anyone being better.
I
don't see the
think-
Knicks. There aren't any players to
I
go
was going to
get.
say the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks do
The
have
Knicks
a
maybe could,
okay shot.
if they stay healthy. The
If they
Knicks,
yes.
but it will be basically the same team. I don't. Who else are they going to go
People
get?
want to hype Milwaukee. I don't think Milwaukee will do that well. Just because I don't think Doc Rivers is that great of a coach in Milwaukee. Orlando, they had a decent run. I still think they're a little too young. Cleveland, I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so.
No.
If the Pacers
Philadelphia?
have a defense, they may have a shot of just being very surprising. They were the 6th seed this year, and I think that shocked a lot of people just by their scoring.
Philadelphia,
efficiency.
they need a third piece. They don't have it. They're not going to get it.
They're very
unless
disappointed.
LeBron James decides to leave the Lakers and go play for them.
If Jimmy Butler's healthy and they're the 8th seed again and Celtics are the 1 seed, do the Celtics get beat in the first round?
No,
No.
not now. I think Brown and Tatum with the burden lifted from them, they're going to play free and easy, and I think that they're going to be very hard to beat.
Let's just take let's compare them to the West now. So Denver, we already know. Denver is a team where for some reason the Celtics just could not get over the hump this past season. OKC got better defensively, but they're still an extremely young team. Experience-wise, and I think coaching-wise, I understand that OKC head coach got Coach of the Year this year.
The Timberwolves.
Timberwolves defensively, I think that would have been a massive challenge for them. And also, Ant Edwards, he was on fire against Denver.
Edwards made a lot of mental mistakes in the final
he's a
series.
very
He's a
young
very
player.
young player, so he's going to have another year of experience. He's going to learn from that experience in the finals, and I think the Timberwolves could be a challenge, and hopefully they would knock the Nuggets off in the playoffs again on the West side.
I'm saying the Clippers no, because I don't think the Clippers will go very far, and they may lose Paul George in the process. So they'll
what about
get worse
Dallas?
talent-wise. Dallas, Kyrie Irving can't play well against the Celtics, so it's basically like Luka or bust, which it kind of was this past series. Golden State is going to be very good.
I don't see Dallas. How are they going to improve their team? What can they do to make it better? I don't see them
Tell Luka
picking
to
up.
get in shape and play better defense and not be a traffic
Well,
cone.
maybe that's part of it, but
That
I don't
could be
see
a
them.
starting-
But
starting
picking up
point.
another player, I don't see them being able to do that. They're going to be basically the same team. I don't see many teams having that different of a team chemistry or structure than they had this past season going into next year. Maybe one of the wild cards is maybe LeBron moves, but I don't think
Not a
so.
chance.
Now that Redick has been hired, he's a buddy of LeBron, so
And
I think that had
I
something
think-
to do with them hiring him.
I think Brad Stevens, he's done an incredible job since he became the executive. He was okay as a head coach. He was perfectly fine as a head coach.
Yeah, he got him to never got to the finals under him.
That was Ime Udoka who got to the finals. But I will say, Brad Stevens, his moves as an executive, he traded Kemba, who wasn't that great with the Celtics. He traded for Al Horford, kept Jaylen Brown in 2021, acquired Derek White and traded Langford, traded Marcus Smart for Kristaps Porzingis and 2 first-round picks, re-signed Jaylen Brown to that supermax, traded Malcolm Brogdon, who I liked a lot, was a 41% three-point shooter, and also Robert Williams for Drew Holiday, which, by the way, those moves of getting rid of Smart, Brogdon, and Williams, Those three trade pieces that they moved all got hurt this season. I think Robert Williams played 3 games too before he got injured. So you got him for Holiday, who played a bunch, and also Porzingis, who he had a couple injuries here and there, but he was perfect. He was basically perfectly fine through most of the season.
Yeah, the Drew Holiday trade was a
that
that was a brilliant trade. I didn't think so when they first did it.
Right.
When I thought, hey, you wound up giving up Marcus Smart and got Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday's an older player.
Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year, I think, the year before.
Yeah. So, but Drew Holiday, second team All Defensive player, very smart player out on the court, fit beautifully into the Celtics team concept. It was brilliant.
And not only that, you signed him to an extension. You also signed Kristaps Porzingis to an extension. So you have those guys for a couple of years.
Yeah, and you're going to have Jason Tatum for a long time.
You're going to probably give him a $300+ million deal as well. So I think if you can maintain, I'm not saying the same exact bench, just a solid bench.
All they have to do is go out and get a backup center who's so serviceable. Doesn't even have to be a star.
Well, he wouldn't even need to be the backup because Horford's the backup.
But they usually have two deep. They have two deep.
Right.
They did that with Cornette, right? And even played Tillman. They actually played 4 centers this year after Porzingis got hurt. And Al Horford, he's another year older. He's going to play another year. I think it's great. But give him a little more rest over there on the bench. Bring in another center, which they should be able to find.
I would agree with that. So the window is still open at least for one more year. And like I said, I would give him a 9 out of 10 on the confidence scale just because everybody is being brought back.
I think they could be dynasty, man. They could go 3.
Kendrick Perkins agrees with you. Kendrick Perkins says that he said on NBA Today, he said that, quote, I could see them winning 3 out of the next 4 years.
Yeah. Health is going to play a factor here. We have Porzingis, who has a history of injuries. Brown and Tatum have been very lucky. They really have not had any. I don't know that they've had any injuries really in their careers. Holiday is a little bit of an older player. Derek Wright, I don't see that he's ever been really hurt. So they've been really lucky health-wise. They were really lucky this year health-wise.
Yeah.
I like the team a lot. As you said, when the Bulls finally won one, they won 3 in a row.
You're saying that this is the new Michael Jordan.
I'm not saying it's Michael. There's a Michael Jordan on the Celtics, but I do think the team concept and the Celtics recognizing that we can't put too much pressure on Jason Tatum really worked well. Worked extremely well. They got a great concept there, a great team chemistry. Hold that together. Stay healthy. It's going to be another win in the championship, I think, particularly if Denver doesn't get there, and maybe a 3-peat. You heard it from me.
Well, I'll say this. It's very good when you already win to think, we're going to spend the money to go again. Because why would you want to change a championship team? Look at the Denver Nuggets. They lost a lot of their key bench players. They lost some of their starters, too. You just won a championship. You gentlemen swept in the NBA Finals. You dominated the West last year. And you want to change it? At least the Celtics are like, we're going to re-sign people. We're going to spend the money. We'll take the second 8. We'll take a massive luxury tax if we need to. We just want to win again. It's been 16 years, and now they've finally won again. And they were, I think, 14 games ahead of the next team in the East, which is absolutely ridiculous. Joe Mazzulla nearly has won 3/4 of his games as a coach of the Celtics. In the playoffs, he has a 69% winning percentage.
He's liking it, man.
I mean, there's nothing. They're spending the money to keep the key players that they need to win a championship. They didn't give up on Jaylen Brown. They didn't, buy into the idea of you need to trade one of these pieces and get another piece, and then you could win. They stuck with it. They got Joe Mazzulla. They believed in the philosophy that Mazzulla brought, the 3 ball. Live and die by the 3. Last year, they died by it a lot. Now, they live by it. And you know what? It paid its dividends.
I think they live by it now, but they also have the opportunity to go inside with Porzingis.
Yeah. No, that is true.
And Tatum he's good at driving. He was much better this year than last year. Driving the ball. He didn't turn the ball over.
The ball security was massive.
Ball security was much better.
This season, the playoffs, we all remember during the time where he played with the Warriors, time against the Warriors where they lost in 6, he had triple-digit turnovers. He had cut that in half this playoff run. legitimately. He had 50 turnovers during this playoff run. So that's the key right there. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.